still asleep, and I ain't talking about no bedtime. The truth is not a Google search, you need to get your head right. The Greek goddess of illusion was called Media, and I'm not a coincidence theorist, I look for thread lines, smashing every deadline, no longer smashing red wine. Though I can hear the bells chime, it feels like the end times. That probably should have been smashed on red wine, but the carnal mind is foolish. Obey and end up ghoulish. Don't get used by instinct, take control and learn to use it. Make a load of earnest music, earn a few quid, learn a few tricks. Sure, the truth is persecuted, this whole world is pure abusive. Know a bit about everything and everything about nothing. Figured out my noggin while you picture out shopping. You sit about watching while I dish it out, stop it. I don't mean to sound cocky, I'm not even proud of it. It's a second nature to me, just to me to sound honest. I don't even need to sound honest, never been about profit. Everything but out on it, you can bet your house on it. Doubt I'll be out for the count when the sounds, and I'm down for the beat, no beat down. I mean, how long's it been? Help me out. I've been the only one who's held me down. All in the mind, hell freeze now. Still sick with it, healthy how? Few bars down and the world freaked out. I don't reach out, I seek out to speak out. I'ma recount the reasons they beat out.
Podcast. I am your host, Joseph Daniel Pena, and it is February 8th, 2024, and we are blasting right through the door with some more knowledge for all of us. So just sit right back and enjoy what's in store. Let's like, subscribe, share, and have a good day. Have a wonderful weekend, and be the positivity in your life or everyone else around you, because you are the light that God made. You want to drown the darkness that all these haters that showing. The Grammys is just recently. That was an enlightening program for all of you guys, and hope you guys are enjoying this. Remember, we are streaming on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, Instagram, Rumble, sharing it out to Spotify, and there is a RSS for anyone out there who can just use it on any other app or likes it in an RSS feed. So go ahead and let your friends know too. There are donation links down below, like the sponsor that we got on today. Go check out Shop C60 or Purple Power C60 and use coupon code 509 Divine Pines for a nice, probably one of the world's coolest, newest antioxidant research and formulas. Marketed now as a very health and well-being supplement. It's by far one of the products that I've used in the last couple of years. I mean, literally everything around us and how positive we can feel, how much more energized we can feel, and like it's really making me understand all of the food and drinks that I was consuming way back in the day that would make in comparison to how this makes me. I mean, it's not just the carbon molecule, but all right, guys, it's pretty simple. But today's guest knows more about it. Ken Swartz is the world's foremost expert on C60 and has a profound impact. Ken, the scientist, and this C60 has a great benefit for your health. Ken is a passionate advocate for health and wellness and the founder and chief science officer of Purple Power C60. He earned a master's degree from the University of Colorado and a bachelor. Well, we've had him on before. So, Ken, let's go ahead and bring him on, man. Hey, how you doing, dude?
I'm doing pretty good. Glad to be on again.
Nice job being here. Appreciate it. So for all my viewers out there, just let them know where they can find you. Like, where are you at? And also, anything new, anything that you might want to add on to let people know about you and your research.
Well, okay. Well, I'll tell you a little. I'll just give the little short story about how I came to C60. I was working on the metal oxygen fusion reactor project, and that's we talked about that, I believe, on our last show. And one of the things with that project, that type of fusion, is there was a lot of late professors and dead PhDs associated with it. So I went looking out for a something to help me, protect my crew and myself, since I'm responsible for them. And I came across this stuff called carbon 60, C60 for short. And they had a scientific study where they gave one set of rats got C60, the other didn't. They hit them with a fatal dose of radiation. The C60 rats lived, where, of course, the control rats all died. It was a fatal dose of radiation. So when I learned about that study, I got a couple of sources for my crew and myself. And we took it during the experimentation, and we're all still around. So I guess it worked for that. But what happened afterwards is I kept taking it because I had a little bit more energy, better mental focus, and clarity. And about 7 months after I started taking it, I went to my eye doctor, and my DRUs, or dry macular degeneration, had completely disappeared. It's still gone today. I have perfect retinas. And but that's just a fluke. That's one thing. But my electrical engineer on the job, Gary Rodriguez, he had developed severe wet macular degeneration, partially due to his type 2 diabetes. And so I made a preparation of C60 and MCT oil. I don't know if you guys know about medium chain triglycerides. MCTs can be turned into ketones by your liver, and ketones are like flex fuel for your cells. So if you got a glucose processing issue, taking MCT oil is a really good idea. And he took a tablespoon of C60 and MCT oil for a little bit over a year, and his severe wet macular degeneration went completely away. It's still gone today, and his type 2 diabetes went subclinical. And so after learning that, I started making preparations for family, friends, and myself. And then alternative healthcare people started using it, and they've got great results. They gave it to their patients. They got great results. And now there's the company C60 Power. So that's a little story in short, how it all happened.
I love the product, dude. I mean, the MCT oil. I've been actually talking to people about like good coconut and MCT oil is actually for the body. Recently I picked up a job as a fitness trainer, and it's by far one of the greatest adaptations that we can bring into our diet. In the morning, just some coconut granola with some chocolate and all that. But awesome, right?
Yeah, and MCTs.
But with this, it's way more potent. Okay, so just how potent is this? Like, how do you guys get the MCT oil? You guys, how strong is it?
We get ours from Malaysia, and it's organic MCT. Like, yeah, it's come from you get it from one farm. So one of the things that are all of our products, which you won't find in any other C60 products, is you got a little QR code on the label that comes with the box, and you can go there and you can see the QR codes that so that you're getting real MCT oil, right, or real olive oil, or real avocado oil, right? We kind of have we go direct with the farms, so there's not middlemen in between, and because there's a problem sometimes with olive oil being real, and also we do and also you can see the MCT, you can see the certificate of analysis for the carbon 60 that we use, so it's 99.99% pure carbon 60. We also use something called sublimated C60. Sublimation is like the cousin of evaporation. It's when a solid turns into a gas, then back to a solid. And that's how you purify it to 99.99% in the sublimator. Most C60 products out there use solvent-based C60. They use methylbenzene to dissolve the C60, and then they bake it off. They have ESS and other names they call it, but it's basically solvent-produced C60. And even though you bake it off, there's always like a little residue of methylbenzene, which is a known carcinogen in your C60. So you want to make sure that we're not the only one, by the way, out there that features sublimated C60 in their products, but that's definitely what you should look for: sublimated and 99.99% pure C60. That's just what the health standard. There's a lot of I can tell you when the C60 market was small, pretty much everybody was good, got a quality product, right? But then C60 kind of became popular, and just like CBDs, we have all these fly-by-night people got in to make a buck, and they're using low quality C60, no C60, fake oils and all the other things that come with it, and so we just So that's why we have our little QR codes. And we also send our product out for third-party testing. So you can know that our product is safe and effective because what we have in it, this third party is going to show it. And we picked that up from the CBD industry because, you know, we're in Colorado and there's so many fly-by-nighters and scammers in the CBD business that they had to step up their, you know, their quality control. So we do the same exact thing so that you know you're getting a quality product. There's other good C60 products out there, by the way, besides our C60 Power, of course.
That's most appreciated.
Yeah.
Honestly, you know, I have a little QR code for my business there. It's ran by Popple. It's a digital business card, so I wear it around my neck. It's like a lanyard and has a QR code, but it also has an NFC chip so that like you can literally just tap it to a phone and all your links pop up. Literally by far one of the easiest ways to in person show people your business. You know, literally you can like
Oh yeah, that is the
10
modern way.
phones in 10 seconds and boom, all your links
Yes.
pop up. It's pretty great.
Yep, it's replaced the
Yeah,
business
yeah.
card.
No, it's awesome. Yeah, that QR code is.
Yeah, we have
yeah, reference for, you know, all my viewers out there. What is you know, what is the benefit and, you know, the well known research for MCT and why I say that this MCT oil, coconut oil C60 is by far the best one. I mean, that's just speak more why maybe it's considered like a superfood or super.
Yeah, well, it's what it is MCT oil. They're just medium chain triglycerides. What they are is they're, you know, 6 to 8, maybe some 10 carbon length chains on your triglyceride. And so your liver, you know, because normal oils like olive oil or avocado oil, they're like 18 chains, right? But when you got the 8 chain carbons, your liver can just turn it into ketones, and ketones are like they're a flex fuel for your cells. Your mitochondria, your little energy powerhouses of the cells, can just take those ketones and use it to make the ATP that runs your cells. So, and that's why athletes love MCT or people with glucose processing issues, because the cells can take it in. They don't need insulin or anything. They can go right into your cells, right into your mitochondria. Your mitochondria can burn it as, you know, high quality fuel, and that gives you the energy. That's why a lot of athletes take MCT oil. And when you put C60 in it, which is an antioxidant, well, that just adds it to the benefit.
Yeah, that actually leads right into my next question. So, with this MCT oil and the C60 oil, you had mentioned that this is like an SOD, and this is a like pretty much huge catalyst for our mitochondria. Yeah. And so, you know, why you know why?
Well,
maybe with all the diet and everything.
Yeah, well, the thing is, there's certain antioxidants, really critical key antioxidants your cells use, especially in the Krebs cycle. That's your mitochondria and some of that key metabolism going on in your cell. And there's the 4 big ones. Basically, one is CoQ10. And you can supplement for that, and you probably should, especially if you got a little gray hair. CoQ10, because as we get older, a lot of the antioxidants our body naturally produce go down, and so supplementation is a good idea. And then the other one is glutathione. We all know about glutathione. Now, glutathione used to be hard to supplement for because, you know, it just doesn't pass the gut barrier, but they developed various sorts of liposomal glutathione, so it'll pass the gut barrier, won't get destroyed by the stomach acid. And there's various, ones that absorb transdermally or through your skin. Usually, you know, you put it in your mouth and it absorbs through your gums and stuff. So there's some pretty good sources, but there really was nothing for superoxide dismutase and catalase, and that deals with the most damaging oxidative radical in the body, superoxide. That's an oxygen with an extra electron, because, you know, oxidative radicals are rusting your body. It's basically, you know, you get up in the morning, you don't feel good or work out. That's, you know, you're kind of feeling sore. That's because of oxidation, the rusting of your body. So you can imagine an oxygen with an extra electron. There's nothing going to cause more rust than that. And so superoxide dismutase, SOD, and catalase, they kind of work together to, one turns it into hydrogen peroxide, the other turns it back into water and an oxygen. So that's kind of the way it works. But there was no way to supplement for that. But C60 is a mimic. So it does the job of SOD and catalase in dealing with the radical superoxide in one step. Right. So it just takes care of that. And so when you, and the key is C60 doesn't treat any disease. You know, I'm not a medical doctor, can't give medical advice. What C60 does, it really kind of lifts the oxidative burden on your body on your cells so they can operate more efficiently and you can have better health. It's and there's nothing for supplementation for SOD or catalase. There's because it's got to be made in the cell. So C60 is really the only, as a mimic, is the only thing you can take to help improve your mitochondria function in the SOD area.
All right, this is gonna be interesting. So this helps us stay really oxidized, really at our highest level. I'm starting to realize that these towers are like deoxidizing a lot of a lot of our areas. It's kind of like really changing the alchemy of our environment, and with us too. Like it's making cells like radiated. It's kind of rupturing everything, and you know yeah, like decarbonizing us with that kind of dehydrating us. It's literally all these things are pretty much boiling us up.
Yeah, well, think about when we're talking 5G and stuff, what we're talking is microwave radiation, right? So obviously, if you got a microwave oven, you know how it heats things up. And so for years, they always said, oh, it's just it doesn't, since the amount of radiation coming off these towers doesn't heat up, a set amount of water very much, then it can't be dangerous. Well, what they found out is there's these things called voltage gated channels in your cells. And that's the things that pull in ions. And like potassium or sodium or calcium, they're super, important for balancing chemistry in your cells. Well, what they found out is like 5G signals that they use jam open the voltage gate channels for calcium. And so calcium leaks into your cells that shouldn't be there, and it causes a whole bunch of oxidative damage. It's a cause of cascade of oxidative damage. And so C60 can help deal with that. Of course, the best thing is not to get yourself irradiated in the first place. And another thing they found about these microwaves is that, we have proteins in our body. I mean, that makes up most of what we are. The solid part of us is proteins. And a lot of them have to fold like little origamis. And so if you have all these microwave radiation going on everywhere, messing with, vibrating things, sometimes the folding goes wrong. And then they don't get in the shape they need to be effective. And so either they're ineffective or they can even become toxic. And so those are the two things that they've discovered, like, that the 5G, the 4G, the microwave stuff is really doing to your cells and your body.
Oh, yeah, and that's making me think now. Okay, so what have we seen over the last couple of years, right? Like we've seen this actual microwave or this small nanotechnology be put into us, and so now it's like sending out these signals from the inside. Well, I would think that this is why there's a huge push for artificial foods, artificial calciums, artificial proteins, and it's kind of one big picture for everyone to see and why we're getting sick so much. And this technology right here, well, it's not, but I guess this Purple Power C60 can really help change someone's energy. I mean, for me, I know for a fact like there would be no brain fog whenever I'm on C60 compared to when I'm off C60. And I definitely can stay awake for 20 hours, no stress, go to sleep, wake up sharp, and my body's at its peak. And speaking towards how you said, light and all this, right? Well, there's research how our skin cells open up and absorb all this light around us, and it's kind of like a flower petal. So all these frequencies and 5Gs and all this, these cell phones would definitely close close a lot of those pores, close a lot of that light. This blue light would make it like, yeah, this is kind of this is great, man. So for anyone out there who's really looking for at least a skin change, because C60 also has lotion now, right? You guys have some face
Yes,
lotion and
yes, that's right.
and some cool new
Especially for
things
the
like
women
that.
out there. It's this is our anti-gravity serum, and we also
Yeah, this
have
is perfect for
a
Valentine's Day.
yep, and we also have a youthful renewal eye cream. You put it under your eye. And so the women kind of like that. And we also have one of our other products is C60 Sexy. So that's an edible massage oil. So we do have those, and we're going to have a body lotion coming out soon. That's I think it's being made right now or something. But that's kind of coming out in the future. And so that's kind of the things. In fact, that was the very first human study of C60.
So just so for my viewers out there, could you put some lotion on you and just for whatever, just for a show, just to show them, hey man, you're into it too.
Yeah.
I'm looking at you right now, dude. Your skin's probably better than mine, man. It's smoother than mine.
Yeah,
Jeez, man.
like this is our eye cream. You just put it under the eye. Get those baggy little eyes. I get that, especially if you don't get enough sleep.
So just a little bit.
Yeah, just a little bit down there under the eyes, and then the other one is a
just a little bit, just a small dab, huh?
Yeah, they've been making Jess, our CEO, has been having me put it on. So I took my before. I took my before, and we'll do the after pictures after 3 months. Because that was actually the first human study of C60. Is they put C60 in a face cream for Japanese women, and they found that C60 applied topically to the faces of Japanese women reduced lines and wrinkles.
So this really helps the collagen production. I'm guessing that the whole C60 carbon footprint of this, this is boosting all of the collagen proteins inside of us, and we are 25% collagen. Some research on that. I'm guessing with that Japanese team there is.
Yeah. That's what it is. It helps the cells work better. And the other thing they discovered is C60 also increases stem cell levels. Because we found out what they did is they gave some rabbits arthritis, and then they injected C60 into their arthritic knees, rabbit knees, and they found that yes, indeed, C60 reduced inflammation. But when they sacrificed the rabbits and looked at the knees, they discovered that C60 had actually regrown the cartilage, and that's the way science does. People may not like that, animal rights people, but but anyway, what they discovered is that we have a bunch of cells in our body. They're called senescent cells or zombie cells. And they basically, they're cells that the DNA is damaged or too shortened or whatever it is. And they normally, the body would kill them off through a process called apoptosis, which is programmed cell death. When the cell's not working, it kind of dies off and it's replaced. But a lot of times that doesn't happen the way it should. And so what's C60 and what those cells do to stay alive is they actually stop making antioxidants like superoxide dismutase, catalase, glutathione, CoQ10, and providing it to the mitochondria. So the mitochondria have to go into like the fermentation mode. That's what a senescent cell. It's in the fermentation mode. It's burning. It's like yeast, right? And so it's putting out like alcohol toxins to the cells around it. It's putting out cytokines, inflammatory cytokines. It's kind of like a rogue zombie cell. So when you take C60 restarts the mitochondria inside those little rogue zombie cells, senescent cells, and they'll send messages to the nuclear DNA, and they won't get the right message back. And so they basically cause the cell to blow up. The mitochondria will self-destruct and cause the senescent cell to self-destruct as well. And then what happens is when all those senescent cells that are in your body go away, your cellular tissue doesn't have enough cells to function correctly. So it stimulates your stem cell production, and then stem cells go in and replace those missing cells. And that's what causes, that's why, it regrew the cartilage in the knees. We've had, that's probably possible why it regrew, my retina got healed from the macular degeneration. We've had, people with Hashimoto's, 0% function in their thyroid, but over taking C60 for like a year or two, they're off 50% to 2/3 of their medicine. Some people are completely off their medicines. And so we think what's happened is those zombie senescent cells that aren't functioning are being wiped out by the C60. They're being replaced by stem cells that can actually do the job. And then, now you're back and running.
Oh, right. Oh, dude, I'm making me think. So this is probably boosting telomeres and kickstart
Well, yeah.
them to their max. Process is like, let's just say some people have liver failure or these gallbladder issues, and maybe cold. There's just different parts of their body is failing. I'm sure. I'm just thinking that this will kickstart a lot of it to activate again and to get
Well,
it
here
its health.
I'll give you a testimonial. We get testimonials all the time because C60 really works. I mean, it worked for me. That's why it started. I wasn't planning to make a company. It just kind of happened. Here's one. Okay. I am 70 years old. And by the way, for people looking out there, for all you young kids, well, C60, it's good, but especially the gray-haired crowd. So if you're the gray-haired crowd out there, or you're going to become the gray-haired crowd, this is, C60 is really important if you want to do there. So here's a example. We get these all the time, every day. I'm 70 years old and have been poor health. However, after 1 year of taking C60 Purple Power, our company's name is C60 Power now, used to be C60 Purple Power, by the way. My high blood pressure is gone. My eyesight has markedly improved. My aches and pains have disappeared. My frequent hearing loss since I was 18 years old has disappeared. My hair is browner. My energy level is much better. I'm also lost about 50 pounds. I was diagnosed by an endocrinologist as being overweight due to a genetic problem with my liver, quote, which runs in my family. So the only explanation for my weight loss is what I call a miraculous restoration of liver function. Bless you and all the good people who make you this wonder supplement available. But finally, my whole family and many of my friends are now on board. So, I mean, we get those all the time, and that's, a lot of these things they call are genetic or other things are just mitochondria misfunction. Your mitochondria, the energy powerhouse of your cell, are not working right. And so, if they're not working right in your liver, you got liver problems. If they're not working right in your kidney, you got kidney problems. Get your mitochondria working again, problems go away. And C60 is one of the steps. Now, I also encourage you, I am not a medical doctor, can't give medical advice, but I'll tell you what I do. I also take CoQ10 and glutathione supplementation, right? Because you want to cover those four, CoQ10, glutathione, and C60 covers that SOD catalase category. So, and you got to eat right. You got to get enough sleep. You got to avoid a lot of those, let's say, bad lifestyle habits, and or minimize them, and all those other things you need to do if you want to get healthy. But C60 is one tool in the toolkit for good health. But if you want good health, you got to work at it in a lot of different ways.
Do you think that you guys could make a C60 power bar, like granola bar, nutritional bar, for on the go? Is that something possible?
Well, we do have, I forgot to say, we do have our gummies. We have gummies. They're actually fruities because they're made of pectin.
I meant like, for people.
Yeah, we've thought about
this would be great for people going through the altitude.
Yeah, we've thought about that. We'd probably
for all the hikers and mountaineers.
Yeah, we've thought about doing that. We'd probably partner with somebody who's already making bars and has distribution, and then just put it in as an ingredient. We actually have that with some pet companies that they put C60 in their pet food. So you get C60 in the pet food. So that's already happening. But we haven't really done it for people. We just, our main thing is the other thing people like is the gummies.
I don't know if you had spoken about it. So back to the telomere. Do you know? Is there any research on how this affects their telomeres, or anything about how this
there's no
or any of these really fine and
there's no real research on C60 and telomeres, official research, peer-reviewed, published studies, but we have lots and lots of anecdotal studies, and people that use C60 a long time have increased telomeres. But it's not because C60 as an antioxidant certainly reduces telomere loss. Usually a telomere is, just for people out there, telomeres are like little strings on the end of your chromosome. They're kind of like you put on the end of a rope so it doesn't fray out. Well, that's what telomeres are. They're a little DNA that kind of holds it together. And every time your cell divides, the telomeres get shorter until like after 50 divisions, it's like your DNA is not functional anymore and your cell's senescent and it needs to go away and get replaced by a stem cell. So what happens is C60 as an antioxidant, C60 reduces telomere loss. Because if you were perfectly healthy and everything was running right, every time your cell divided, you lose about 20 telomere lengths, right? But since people aren't like that, a lot when their cells divide, they often lose 50 to 100 telomere lengths. So obviously that's rapid aging. So that's why taking good care of your health. So C60 can reduce that. But the key thing with people that take C60 for a long time, they find an increase in telomere length. But it's not because C60 increased the telomeres in any particular cell. What happens is C60 wipes out senescent cells, and senescent cells inevitably have shortened telomeres. That's why, they're senescent cells. And so when C60 goes in there, wipes out all those senescent cells, and they're replaced by a stem cell. And a stem cell is like a baby cell. It has almost a complete set of telomeres. And when you take that telomere test, let's say in your cheek, they're going to measure the telomere length of like thousands of your cells, not just one cell. And so if C60 wipes out the senescent cells with really shortened telomeres and they're replaced by stem cells that have a full set of telomeres, average telomere length increases with long-term C60 use. But it's because you've got all those new stem cells in your body. That's why telomere length increases with C60 use.
I mean, now you're saying it more like this is why like I feel even mentally with the production of glia, like I said, like it literally like a water fountain going through your body and actually giving you clean water compared to like maybe dirty water, right?
Yeah.
How about that? Clean electricity compared to dirty electricity.
Yeah, and I think C60 works in certain, like there's certain body types. C60 is really great, reduces the oxidative burden in your cells generally, right? That's great. But it's really super thing because your mitochondria need SOD and catalase to run efficiently. And that's where C60 does its job. So any cell type that has a lot of mitochondria, that's where it's going to do good. And the number two actually cell type that has a lot of mitochondria is your nerve cells. And because they're up to 50% mitochondria by physical mass in your nerve cells, because your nerves, your brain is what is 2% of your body weight, and it uses 20% the energy, right? So their brain is that's why C60 and the retina, by the way, which is what causes things, in macular degeneration, that's part of the brain actually. It's part of the brain in your eyes. So any of that, this actually the number one cell type. I discovered this just several months ago. Somebody set me right, one of our doctors that works with us, is that the cells of your endocrine system actually have the highest levels of mitochondria. So those little, your pineal gland, your thyroid, your hypothalamus, pituitary complex, and the adrenal glands, right, on top of your liver, on top of your kidneys, sorry, they have the most amount of mitochondria in the body. And so when you take C60, it restarts those all the endocrine system. So you get and because what happens is cells, mitochondria make especially in the endocrine system, make pregnenolone, which is the precursor molecule for all the hormones. So when your pregnenolone production goes up, especially in your endocrine organs, you're going to get more melatonin. So you're going to get better sleep. You're going to get more human growth hormone in your pituitary hypothalamus complex, which I guess is inside there. You get more thyroid, more T3 and T4. You get more mineral corticoids that balances your blood levels. You get more glucocorticoids that balance your blood sugar. You get more androgens. That's what gives you testosterone, estrogen, progesterone, whoever you are. And that's one of the other side effects, by the way, of C60 is a great increase in libido. So for those people looking for a little boost in libido, you might want to check out C60.
And you know what's cool about this is that this is all for the awake side, right? The act and awake, but then when you go to sleep, because your body is so healed up and on its proper level, you can dive right into REM a little bit easier. Your body can relax just a little bit more, and there's probably a lot more of the secretion of DMT throughout the pineal gland and other things that will help your brain travel through the astral. I mean, you know what? It's interesting. I guess now that I think about it, I mean, I don't know if this is directly related, but like in the last few years, ever since I started taking things like C60 and Boomer Boost Barley, where it's also a superhouse SOD through its uh, ancient gladiator seed,
Yeah,
supercharged
gladiator.
ion field, where it has like 16.
I mean, it's what you got to do. You got to put
Yeah, you
good
guys
food
should
in
partner
your
up with
body.
them and make some granola bars with theirs and do like
Yeah.
totally destroy the game.
Yep.
But
Yeah. And that's important. I mean, you got to have the right food. You know, if you're thinking
dude,
about
you guys would destroy the market.
Yep, yep. It's an idea. It's we've talked with people, it just hasn't gotten there
So,
yet. We're gonna make a call. I can't talk too
I
much.
just want to say, like, yeah, my dreams have been off the hook.
Oh, that is another thing. Yes, people say that all the time that when they take C60, they get their dreams become more intense,
Vivid.
colorful, vivid. That's a better term, vivid.
Yeah, dude, yes. No, literally. So all right, man. There was just like an instance where I'm not sure why or how. It's just like I started. Well, I'm still seeing it. I'm seeing my city that I live in Grandview in like this alternate dimension or this other neon world. It might be the future. But I'm conscious of it, and I'm like I, just shocked at how clear my dreams are now compared to like when they were hazy. Literally, yeah, you stole the word right out of my mouth. It's vivid and clear. Um, I mean, okay, so the ancient cultures say that we have this silver core that are what do they call it? Our bioluminescent energy on C60 is probably off the charts, man.
Well, yeah,
Um,
I guess they could that the aura,
yeah,
yes, would be what people, I guess modern people call it that. Oh no, we have actually like the crypto viewing group. I don't know if you ever heard of them. That
yeah,
are
dude. I
on.
mean,
They use C60. They find yeah, crypto remote viewers use C60. They find it makes their remote viewing better. We have dowsers. Dowsers say they can dowse better. Psychics say they can be psychic better. So it's just what they say. It just kind of clears up the brain fog, so they can do whatever they do better.
that kind of delves into, I guess this is a two-part question. I mean, if you want to, you could speak on some of their remote viewing and things that they pulled. But also, what I wanted to ask is that is any of this C60 used by like space agencies, NASA, or any of these let's just say like heavy I want to say government agencies, but maybe black project agencies where they're like in some very tough spots or whatever. They want to use this. Like, is this something that's useful for everyone like that, even up in space? I'm guessing.
Oh yeah, no, a C60 is critical if you're going to go into space because of the radiation levels and other toxins and stuff. Yes, and that's there. I could just say that there are there would be the black under project budgets actually use it because they don't have to wait for stupid funding and approval. So they're actually using that C60, the elite groups and stuff. But for the average peasant or the NASA astronaut, they're so far behind on anything. They're not there. But the ones, the ones in the know and the ones that can make decisions for themselves, yeah, they're already using C60.
Oh man, yeah, I bet so. Now this goes forward, man. Yeah, all of us, if we go ahead and research more about what we can do to better ourselves, all of us will go forward, and all of us will thrive. I mean, if we can use it, and people that are going through maybe like space can use it to help better themselves. Your
Yeah.
elderly can use it. You know, uh, I don't know. I don't know. Would you give this to like a baby? Like, let's just say you found some type of way to put it in like a baby formula. Would you give it to a baby?
Well,
Just give it like a
C60
little
is not.
teaspoon on water or something. I don't know.
Yeah, C60 is not approved by any government agency or little three-letter department. So we certainly can't say online or anything that we could encourage minors or babies to use C60. Now there have been some people who have used
Yeah, I
C60
get you.
during pregnancy and raising their kids, and their kids are doing incredibly well, especially for their age. They're more advanced, much stronger, healthier than other kids. But that's a choice that they made. We certainly could not encourage it or promote it.
I probably would just because I know the benefits. I mean, I give it to my cat, my freaking little baby dogs, man. If my baby dogs can handle it, I'm sure a baby human can handle it. And my
Yeah,
dog.
but
But hey, so you had said, and I think that on your website, you know more about technological developments, maybe going around the world through alternative healthcare, or even just I know you're into nuclear, so if you want to
Well,
speak about some of those.
well, that's yeah. I mean, I was on Jay Widener's, and I think I've been on Rents, and I've talked about metal oxygen fusion. That's basically it's like a billion times easier to do than quote the regular fusion. I mean, we have an over Unity lab. We have an over Unity fusion reactor on the desk, right? It runs. It makes more energy than goes in, right? Okay, we gave it. We gave. If you go to look up MOXY fusion ResearchGate on Google. You can Google it. You can get the paper. You can read about it. I mean, we've been building little working over Unity MOXY fusion reactors and giving them away to share to various institutions and governments. We don't work with universities; they're just too much of a pain to jump through hoops. But governments and other useful agencies who are worthwhile and going to do something. Yeah, we give away free working using fusion reactors. They don't cost billions of dollars to make to get a working fusion reactor. The information's online. You can go do it yourself. It's not that difficult. And so hopefully here in the future, that's we know that there's pretty much, it actually was a side topic at the BRICS conference in South Africa. So metal oxygen fusion. So because it's something you can do, and there's also ways to, besides it fusing metals into new metals, you take metal and oxygen, you can fuse it into a new metal, so you can make you can fuse gold for under $50 an ounce. Okay, right now they're only doing tiny amounts of it, but that's what the cost would be if they scaled it up. And some people, let's just say somewhere in Asia, somebody's fusing kilograms of gold through MOXY fusion every week. Okay, that's all I could say. So anyway, but so that's already happening. But you can also use MOXY fusion to to heat water, boil steam, and make electrical energy, if you want to go that way. So it has that potential too. It just hasn't been applied there. And so that's just something in the future. I mean, I didn't come up with MOXY fusion, metal oxygen fusion. I gave it the name, but it was actually discovered by a couple of Japanese guys, Osawa and Kushi, back in late 1950s, early 1960s, even before I was around, right? And so, and they got suppressed. And then it was like decades later, I was in the right place at the right time. We redid their experiments and confirmed their findings. And then we published it out there so everybody can have it, right? And, kind of C60 kind of subsidized a lot of that research. But anyway, so it's something you can do yourself. And and you don't need billions of dollars to make a working fusion reactor.
I mean, for most people, that might be a short time in the future. Then, but now if we're thinking about the past, I know this is interesting. Well, have you ever come across any studies of this being used by any other cultures, in the past, or anything similar to this type of research that's been, studied in ancient cultures?
Well,
I mean, instance, I
there
know
is
that
some.
there's like the tree and like they could heal people, but
Well, one of the things, might be something, it's kind of speculation, but with C60, like in the burnt wick of a candle and other things, there's like about 0.25% C60. Okay. So if you were living in the past, and there are some people that suspect that C60 was what's called the philosopher's stone in alchemy. It was like this black substance which extended life and gave you greater insight, right? And so there might be a way that maybe people discovered how to extract C60 from like burnt materials and then used it. So I mean that's purely speculation, but it's a possibility.
yeah, we know our ancients were heavy into alchemy, but they were also heavy into healing. Yeah, I could think that they probably knew more than us. That's not too hard to imagine, considering how great the architecture is, and how much longer they lived. I They live like, yeah. I think I'm a firm believer. This is me. I'm a firm believer that our ancient ancestors were like 100 times smarter than us. That's just my opinion. Uh,
Well,
what do you think?
that's like that's
Just for
it's
a quick, random question. What do you think?
yeah. Well, no, there's a lot in the Hindu religion and their philosophy. They see modern humans as like degenerate descendants of a pure ancestral people that once existed. So we're kind of like fallen. And the Christians have the fallen thing coming out of the Garden of Eden, but the Hindus say, people were more advanced, healthier, taller, everything better in the past, and we've kind of degenerated over thousands of years into what we are today. And that's part of the whole Hindu religious philosophy.
Are you Christian? I
I guess
recently started going to a
I was
Christian
born
church.
a
Found
Christian. I mean,
myself there, found my
my
faith,
parents were
and
Christian.
uh, I mean, I still
My,
smoke weed, but
yeah, my dad was my mom was I
oh,
guess
it's
she
good,
kind
man.
of hung out in
Uh,
and then my dad was something else, but they was a and so they were. I guess I grew up. I went to church, Sunday school, all that stuff when I was a kid. My mom often didn't go, but she made sure we went to Sunday school and all those other things you do when you're a kid.
yeah, no, literally as a kid. Yeah, I was in two different church classes as a kid. I was in uh, uh some Christian another day class with my friends on that side. I'm like, geez, you know, I don't know which one's real, but thankfully, I finally figured it out. And there's been a lot of you know, debates on what religions are good, but I don't think that's too hard to understand if you kind of read the details behind them.
Well,
But
yeah, I'm not a big fan of organized
yeah,
religion.
let's go ahead and okay.
Or what? A little cutting
Oh
out.
yeah, yeah, I'm not a big fan of organized denominational religion either. But let's move forward. So you had said that you had designed space probe mathematics for the
Oh yeah,
moon's south pole. Just for everybody out there,
yeah.
let's go ahead and talk about it.
Yeah, well, if you go to ResearchGate, that's where the MOXY reactor stuff hails on. You go to the site. I share the site with Gary Rodriguez because we do the papers together, a lot of them, and basically, the Earth is kind of because it spins, it kind of bulges out on the sides. You know how that is, and shorter. It's shorter between the poles than it is across the equator, and that's great, and that's the way that they do it. But the moon is different. The moon's gravity locked, and it's actually prolate. It's actually shaped like an egg. So the distance between the equators and between the poles is actually longer than the distance between the diameter of the equator of the moon. And you have to think of the moon differently. Instead of having like when they made this is one of the reasons why many moon space probes crash is because they designed like latitude and longitude, the whole mapping of the moon, just the way that they did the Earth. They gave it a North Pole and South Pole, and then they did latitude and longitude just like the Earth. But that's not the way. The moon does not have a rotational axis. It has a prolate axis. And so the first thing you have to do with the moon is you have to remap it. And if you look at the moon, there's two poles. One is the near Earth pole. That's the part of the moon closest to the Earth. And then the second pole is on the far side of the moon, the point of the moon farthest from the Earth. Those are the two poles. And then from there, you take latitude and longitude. So actually, the edge of the moon that you see is the equator of the moon. And that's the first thing you got to do. You got to remap the moon the correct way, the way that it actually shaped, because it's a prolate. It's like an egg with the bigger part of the egg facing the Earth. And so first you got to map it right, and then you apply the mathematics, which you can go to ResearchGate and look up Kenneth N. Swartz, or whatever, and you can look at the mathematics yourself. They're 3 times more accurate than Newton's, and so you can. That's why the Indians. I was actually working with iSpace, which is a Japanese company, and they're a private company, and I discovered, whoa, they were 10 miles down the street from me in Centennial Airport, even though they're a Japanese company. I think they moved to Colorado to see if they could pick up, Defense Department funds. And so I was working with them on showing them, because they were going to send they sent a space probe to the moon. It crashed, right? It just malfunctioned and crashed. So I sent it to them, and they weren't sure about it. So they sent it to Japan to some think tank and for them to look at. And in the meantime, I discovered that the India was going to send Chandra 3 space probe to the moon. And since we had a friend who's actually hooked in with the Indian, military power structure, so we just shipped it on to the information on to the Indians, and they plugged it into their space probe before it got there. Because what happens is, if you look at if you don't do it right, the actual gravity at near the Earth, near the South Pole and the North Pole of what we have which is actually the equator of the moon, is higher than the way that they calculate it with their current methods. And so when they sent a probe to that area, they crash them, right? Well, when you put the right mathematics with the right mapping, then you can actually land your probe without crashing it. And so the Indians sent their probe, and they sent it there to land. And then the Russians, who had spies in the Indian Space Research Organization, they got the info, and so they grabbed their space probe out of mothballs and shot it to the moon to try to beat the Indians to landing on the South Pole of the moon. But in the classic case of the hare versus the tortoise, the Russians, they didn't have their software right. When they tried to get into orbit of the moon, they crashed their spacecraft. Whereas the Indians, who took a very long time to get into orbit, get everything set, they successfully landed their probe on the moon. And then about a month ago, the Japanese came, and using the mathematics, I guess they pulled their stuff out of mothballs, fired it off the moon, and they managed to land on the moon, South Pole too, even though the spacecraft was upside down. It was still intact. And so yeah, there's 2 space probes on the moon for using that mathematics. And but the key thing is just mapping the moon right. The poles of the moon are not.
The funny thing is that there's always these. Funny thing is that I always hear about how Russia and their trips to the moon nowadays just don't work out. It always seems, ever since the first time that they went there, they never been able to go back.
That's not the human.
And from the speculation of the people military, they don't know that they're not allowed back by the extraterrestrial races that are there.
Everybody.
What's your idea that
everybody heard it?
There?
Everybody heard it. Apollo 17, which was our last Apollo to the moon. When the Apollo spacecraft left the moon's gravity and went into the Earth's gravitational influence, there was tens of thousands of ham radio operators listening to the communication between the Apollo spacecraft and lunar control, right, or Earth control, right? You could listen in on the ham band, and 10,000 people heard this giant loud message: "Do not return." Okay, and the U.S. never went back to the moon with manned space program. So that's why we never went back. Everybody heard it. It was recorded. Do not return. And so the people on the moon don't want us to go back for whatever reason. You're back and so these plans to send manned people to the moon. I mean, I don't know. If you say don't listen to their advice, they might just blow up your spacecraft. They don't particularly like humans that much, and it's their moon, not ours. And so, well, that's the way it is.
Well, yeah, it might be too traumatizing for those people to, see what's really there. There's also this funny movie called Iron Sky, where the Nazis are already on the moon.
It's not it was ridiculous
comedy,
but it's funny. It's a comedy.
It's hilarious.
Yeah, and it's a
good one. It
is a good. Actually, it's ridiculous, but it's kind of funny.
Well, if we're being realistic, I'm a firm believer that what we know about angels and all these extraterrestrial races, Palladians and the different things out there that are under the kingdom of God and under this hierarchy of the Creator. What do you think's on the moon? What is your personal belief on the other forces and realms and extraterrestrials who might be there?
Well, the remote viewers have seen basically technology. So, and there's a lot of reports of spacecraft that come to the Earth and show up at lakes and suck water up, right? Because the moon has no water. So the moon's kind of like a place where they put their research stations, right? If they're studying Earth, and there's things that look like ruins that are just ancient. There might be billion-year-old, hundreds of million-year-old ruins on the moon from some former, people that passed through, just studied the Earth. So, I mean, the moon's the ideal place to put a space base if you're studying the Earth. The only thing it doesn't have is water, and you just fly down to Earth and pick up water and bring it back. And that's why there's so many reports of UFOs, pulling in water from lakes and reservoirs. They generally go to like reservoirs that we use for our own drinking water and steal a few tens of thousands of gallons. So they just do that for that. So I just think it's a technology that, it's like a station where they used to study Earth. And you remember human civilization, even 200 years ago, we were riding in horses, right? So, and for billions of years before, there was no technology on Earth. So, the whole concept where the Earth is humans on Earth.
Well, actually, that Terry, and we look at the if we look at some of this ancient technology that was around 200 years ago, there was actually supposedly electromagnetic vehicles. There was already blimps in the sky that there were riding vehicles you could ride that like scooters and different things. And I think a lot of our understanding of technology is kind of limited because of who's burning the books. But to think on the moon, you kind of said like it's station. Well, it's this base. There's a lot of theories about how it's a satellite, and yeah, that there is this inner chamber to it. But you don't really say who you think is there, because okay, like in reference, I know for a fact that there's so many military people coming out about military bases, and I talk about this a lot, and there's a lot of proof on it, and a lot of speculated stories.
Well, I
About
had a
who's down there, whether it's 14-foot tall humanoids or 10-foot tall giants, and even the Denver airport gets really sus when it shows reptilians on their things and it says we're down here. Like,
yeah, exactly,
that's
yeah.
exposure.
I'm in Denver. I go there all the time, so I see that. Yeah, they're kind of joking about it. But no, the thing about is, I have a friend, Jose Escamilla. He's passed away now. He did things like Roswell rods, moon rising, and all that. And so I get a lot of the data. I knew him because, if you just look, there's people that just do nothing but film the moon with big telescopes, right? And then they record things flying into the moon, flying out from the moon, flying around the moon, flying between the Earth and the moon. I mean, I have just seen dozens and dozens of these things. And there's dozens of different types of spacecraft that they look totally different. So, it's not just the difference between a Ford and a Chevy or a Toyota. It's like totally different. And so I suspect there's probably dozens of different extraterrestrial races or species or whatever you want to call them that visit the moon and visit the Earth, and maybe some more than others. But so I don't think there's any one. I think there's just a variety of them. And another thing I think maybe that they didn't want humans around is that, because we were seeing things that are like 30, 40 kilometers wide flying between the Earth and the moon all the time, right? So I think part of it is also navigation, because, our little tiny spacecrafts would be like, a bug on their windshield. and they don't want to have to scrape us off their windshield. So that's probably, we don't know the rules of navigation and that. It's like a kid in a tricycle going out on the freeway, right? It's probably going to end badly. So, until we get up to a certain level, it's probably, we're just kind of banned from participating in certain areas. And not necessarily because they're evil or controlling. It's just that,
Yeah. I mean, I've known since the ancient days. This is the way that the world's worked. The libraries and the kings and the royalty had very, very fine control over the knowledge and books that were allowed into mainstream society. Just because when you tell someone who doesn't even care about their own health that, hey man, there's some giants out there and they do demonic witchcraft and they want to eat your babies. That person who can't even read a book sometimes was gonna think you're crazy. But like, you show them 1,000 books and you're like, oh, they suddenly are behooved, right? Well, yeah, I mean that's kind of what's happened like nowadays, where the government labels itself very, very clearly when it says that there's a S clearance 1, S clearance 2, and there's like all these different clearance levels within the government that go deeper and deeper into knowledge. And yeah, that I'm pretty sure that there's also these
Yeah.
extraterrestrial contracts that that are here. But there's just something you reminded me, like I had seen a video. Now you're making me really think this is real. Where it was the moon, and it was only, I don't know, a couple minutes, but I seen ancient ruins. I seen astronauts wondering, like,
Oh yeah.
well, what is this? And they were going through it, walking through it, and yeah, it, at the time,
Yeah, that's one of the things that Jose,
it seemed
I
real.
think he had, I don't know if it was Moon Rising or one of his other films, but like when they first went originally to the moon, there was like structures on it. And so what they did is they airbrushed them out. But they only airbrushed the structure out, right? They didn't actually blend it. Like today, you blend it when you do things. And so you could go there, and what he did is he got the film, and you go, oh, look, here's a tower. And you could see that it's been airbrushed out. Or here's a dome. Oh, look, here's a dome that's been airbrushed out. Or here's like kind of a square looking building. So he just go through and find all these pictures that they released, and you could see the spots that had been airbrushed out because they weren't blended. They were very precisely airbrushed out, right? But they still left the silhouette. It's like, they weren't very good back then when they tried to cover stuff up. So that was like, I think that might have been Moon Rising or one of his other films. But other people have pointed that out, that that they just they tried to cover things up, but they weren't really bright enough to do a good job.
Um, yeah, I think that these structures also found on Mars and different places like that, and pyramids and faces and all this. Like from what I think, I'll be real. When I look at even the mountains here on Earth, and they look like giants, they look like petrified giants, and these mountains look like petrified trees, and some of these look like petrified mushrooms. I'm 100% in belief of how truthful representation of the Olympians and the Titans and the gods. They're like, hey man, these things are 20 humans tall, 50 humans tall. Some of the Zeus supposedly towered to the sky. I mean, people think that's so crazy, but I I know, like, I know somewhere, because they even show the size of the Earth, right? And then they show these other planets and universes, like another universe's sun is literally bigger than our whole galaxy. And it's like, all right, they in some
Yeah.
in some fashion, I know that we're not the biggest kid on the block, and that it's being covered up. I mean, we even know the Smithsonian in the early 1900s, they would come out and talk about it, like, hey, we can't talk about these giants and all, everything that we're finding, because it's now too controversial. It's going to go ahead and not fit into our agenda and all this. You know, uh,
Oh yeah, that's a
I,
big
I
part of it.
I
Yeah.
really do believe that what that video was showing with the structures on the moon is definitely part of our impact.
And you got to realize, see, the moon and Mars really don't have much geology, especially the moon. I mean, there's no erosion. So if you left some junk, if that stuff we left on the moon is going to be there for a billion years, right? It's not going anywhere. There's no erosion, there's no rain, there's no nothing. On the Earth, if you have a structure, because of all the erosion and everything, in a million years you wouldn't even know. Hell, probably 100,000 years, you wouldn't even know that humans ever existed on the Earth. If humans had disappeared tomorrow, and then just the regular weather and all the erosion goes, probably within 10, 20,000 years, there wouldn't be any evidence that there'd ever been humans on the Earth, because all of our structures and everything would be gone from erosion and rain and glaciers and whatever it is. But on the moon, there is no weather. There is no activity. So, you leave something on the moon. That's why they see a lot of junk on the moon. Because, if somebody came here a billion years ago and, set up a base and then left it, it's still going to be there. It might get a little battered from micrometeorites, but other than that, it's still going to be there. So, it's like if you if you left the trash out, it's still going to be there a billion years later.
Oh man, yeah, I think that this place is super old. This world is universe that we live in. It's billions and trillions of years old. But let us let us go ahead and take a short little break if we could. A quick little water break, and we'll be right back. So all of you guys like, subscribe, share, and stay tuned.
Not new, what I do. I've been at it for a minute, pursuing, doing the damage. New, I would do everything that I said I would do. I gotta have it, so goddamn it, I'ma be everything I plan to be. Glad to see money coming my way, believe I'll achieve anything I put my mind to, or at least I try to. I'm avoiding my doom, manifesting my room. Meditate to ease the flow. Third eye open, see the golden energy. It can enter me, get me to feeling full. Forget my enemies, dead to me, yeah, I proceed to go to a new dimension. Gotta mention it's inside our soul. Go inside, fuck the outside. Never tell lies, show pride for belief. Gotta keep the range wide, so instead I just write another hit. Getting fried, rolling up, smoke another blunt for the good times. Good times, bad times makes for the good rhymes. So it never matters, I just learned, no I can't hide. Thank God for every second was birthed with the mind of an ancient soul who's just waiting for the next sign. I'm always watching, vision like a hawk, have 'em flocking. When I drop it, I'm talking, have 'em knocking. The knowledge that I'm dropping, I'm coming out the noggin, I'm logged in. That's the intuition, nothing wrong with doing what you feel is right. Everybody got this. Usually feel it in the night when I'm dropping knowledge. I never even needed any college. Abolish people telling people what they want. I do not wish control over anybody. Do it for the profit. That's the reason that they push it. Do it from the cockpit. Cause they got the money, want the money on the mob shit. On the mob shit. But I know they ain't gon' make it. Shit is poppin'. At the end of time, new age topics. Revolutionary crusade crossing. We go to a new space. Yeah, we enter in a new place. Louis V on my shoelace, rolling with the blue face. Yeah, I'm wondering what you chase. Just another dude caught up in the rat race. Moving my pace, lot of people looking at me sideways. I chase future preparations, gotta go through my face. Till I feel ready to rearrange it. Happen on a daily basis, tripping oasis. When so many people that I can't see through their faces and touch, so I'm reading minds, feel like I'm evasive, persuasive. Cause I feel the vibe, manipulation, I'm patient. Yeah, I feel the vibe, then work to change it. Manifestation, blessings is what I'm chasing. Quantum physics, I'm about to take the time and rearrange it. I play with reality, can't feel like I'm basic. Most people shut it down, don't wanna embrace it. Replacing knowledge.
All right. We are back in action. 509 is always packing, and we have no fear. We put God in you because the devil ain't here. Yeah, I spit bars, hot bars. Like, subscribe, share. 4 a.m. to go ahead and get with my new client, and it was amazing. I'm picking up more clients, guys. So if you guys would like, go ahead and contact me. There's also a new Facebook page, JDP's fitness program. So go follow that and support the brother. And I want to see you better. I'm gonna go ahead and work with you on your whole body. So I'm not just like gonna make you into like some Olympian. No, this is a full body fitness program. I'm into plyometrics, calisthenics, cardio. Yes, weight training too. Pliability, a little bit of everything. And I'm also good on the nutrition and or find things like ligaments and kind of work over here is helping you understand how you can better yourself with Purple Power C60. So what we got going on today is an amazing program. You guys would like, contact me for more information about the fitness training and contact Ken about C60. So let's do this thing. So let's go ahead and switch it over real quick. So more for the health side. The glutathione, well, what supplements? You said it was like kind of a new thing. We weren't able to like supplement it well. What could we get to supplement it? Is it found in any foods, or is it just more of a supplement that we buy?
Yeah, C60 is only it's got to be produced in the lab to get to levels that are worthwhile. So it's all and you got to make sure you make the right type, get it from the right source so it isn't toxic. It doesn't have toxins in it. It's not produced that way. So, but that's like things that I do intermittent fasting. That's one of the things that I've found that has really got I tried all kinds. When I was younger, I drank maybe too much, a little bit beer and other things, and and I gained a little bit too much weight, and so I was looking, dieting, and probably didn't eat the best, and so I tried all these different diets over the years, and the only thing that's ever worked for me really effectively is intermittent fasting. That's that's the only thing I've ever found that's really worked well.
All right, so for my people, they hear fasting, they're like, I gotta stop eating forever. Oh my god, like 40 days and 40 nights. Please no.
No, the thing about intermittent fasting, you just reduce the time that you eat, and I've actually done this. I've actually eaten the same meals. Like I'll eat the same meals, let's say in a 10-hour window, and I'll actually gain weight. And then I'll eat the same meals, let's say in like a 5-hour window, and I don't gain weight. Right? The same amount of food. Right? But you don't, but I don't gain weight and that's what intermittent fasting does, because you take your food in, and then now as you get older, intermittent fasting is more important than when you're younger. Right? So this is things as you get you put other, just like you don't usually, you don't have too much weight when you're younger, you get older, you get more weight, right? So you just limit it as you get older. You just limit the time. So like at my age, I'm past 60. I do I intermittent fast. I eat in a 6-hour window. Right. That's just the way I do it. And so as you're younger, the window's wider. As I get older, if I get into my 80s, it'll be like one meal a day. So that's just kind of intermittent fasting. There's so many dozens of people out on the internet, on YouTube. We'll talk about lots about intermittent fasting, and like the intermittent fasting, women need to do it differently from men, and all these other things. And so that, you go out there and study it. And also I've, gotten rid of a lot of junk out of my diet. There's a lot of stuff that, like seed oils. That's another big thing. If you go look in the films of the 60s and the 1950s, right, you notice that like pretty much all the average public is pretty lean. They're looking pretty good, right? Just the average person in the street. You look today, they're lumped up. What's the difference? Seed oils and sugars, right? People ate lard or other, maybe some olive oil, and that was it. But today they have all these seed oils like canola oil, soybean oil, corn oil, and other types of seed oils that you see that are just really bad for you. They have so much omega-6s and no omega-3s, and so they just they're inflammatory, and they kind of jack up your biology. We're not designed to eat seed oils.
Oh, well, yeah, there's a lot of stuff that we're not designed to eat. And fasting is very important. I don't know the research behind it in general. I mean, not just only intermittent fasting, but like actual real fasting too, where like you go for a day or 2 or 3. Could you speak on maybe the research on
Well, basically what it
why
is,
that is also very important?
yeah, it's autophagy is what people are looking for. And basically, as when you eat all the time and your cells are running, they get a lot of garbage, all the stuff that's broken proteins and everything. They have these things called vacuoles. They just dump them in these big vacuoles, which are like garbage cans in your cell, and it kind of jams things up, right? And they smell bad or whatever, kind of in your cell. It's not working. When you fast, the autophagy kicks in, and your cells don't have the energy they do, so they go out looking for energy. And where do they go? They go to these vacuoles, and they start breaking down old used up proteins and other stuff, and getting they basically scout. It's like you're looking for boards here and there. They go every through and they'll go through these vacuoles, and they'll use enzymes and stuff to break down anything that's useful in there, use it as food and fuel for the cell, and then they'll take the rest and just dump it out of the cell into the bloodstream to be taken care of by the liver. And so when you do these fastings, either intermittent fasting does a little bit of that, but let's say people do like a 48-hour fast or a 72-hour fast. Well, that autophagy, they basically just, your cells have to go looking for food, and they clean themselves up. They take out the trash, they all this other junk that's lying around. They kind of scavenge everything, burn up. It's like when you're running out of fuel for, you go to get the old furniture or junk boards, right? You put them in the wood stove to keep the house warm. That's kind of what it is when you're diet or fasting. And it's, I mean, I don't, those people that go for like 2 weeks or a week, that's probably too much, but doing a 48 or 72-hour fast every now and then is probably okay. But I'm not a medical doctor and I can't give medical advice. I just tell you what I do.
Well, I mean, but you were raised a Christian, and the Bible does say there are only some things that can be removed from prayer and fasting. And if we're being real, these days there's a lot of toxins that seem very dark and maybe spiritual in nature. You know, it's an interesting thing, right?
No, no, yeah, no, I think,
Right?
I
Like,
think, yeah.
do you feel like what do you feel about that?
Oh no, I think it is. I think the advice of fasting is a good thing to do. And it's it's also one of the things that if you got real chronic health problems, fasting is one of the fastest ways to reduce them. And there's clinical gobs of clinical research on that. It's not just a statement I'm making. Go look at the research. They found, because what happens is, people have all this junk in their bodies and they're not working right. You fast, the cells clean themselves up, toxins get flushed, and after a certain period of time, you're back and you're functioning again, functioning the way it is. All this junk that's because it just that is taken care of. So I think, yeah, that's important. I think that's and it's, I mean, it's people, fasting has been like a something that people have been doing for a very long time, and they wouldn't be doing it for a very long time if it didn't have benefits.
And if we're thinking about religion and some of these ancient cultures even more, they would think that some of these toxins and some of these diseases, some of these broken well, I would say broken, but like mm, unhealthy body parts are under the influence of demons. But for the most part, like that they thought sickness, and illness was this demonic presence. I mean, what's your take on that? I mean, I know that like there is it's a speculation. For me, I do think that there is some how do I say this? I know that for a fact, but what's your take?
Well, there are lower dimensional entities for sure. I mean, I'm a scientist, but I've seen, I've had psychic experiences, and so, and that's part of, a lot of the phenomena, just like the UFO phenomenon. A lot of those things are not, they're from parallel dimensions, they're from lower and higher dimensions, and the elementals and other things. These things, if you live long enough and you see enough, you're going to know that, yeah, there's a lot more than just what's in the little, science box that they tell you. And definitely lower dimensional entities or negative entities, you call them, that are, people, souls that haven't passed on and are just hanging around causing problems. So these are all things that, people are going to encounter and deal with. And there is ways to do with that. And I think, part of it is you're keeping what you say, your vibrational or your energy state. If you got a low, like attracts like. So if you got a low negative vibe going, you're going to attract low negative vibe things, right? Which probably aren't good. So, but if you have a higher level, higher frequency, higher spiritual level that you're running on, you're not going to attract those things. So a lot of times that people have problems with like these negative spiritual entities, it's because they're involved with negative spiritual things. People pull out the Ouija board and think they're playing around with it, and they have problems, right? Because it's you got to be careful with what you do out there, especially in the spiritual zones. You can run into dangerous things.
Um, is there any is there that maybe their life has gotten clearer, the darkness has went away? Just maybe
Oh yeah, C60.
say
Yeah,
something
C60
along
is
those
actually,
terms.
there's some.
No.
Yeah, they people that have like we have people with Asperger's. They take C60, their social anxiety goes away, and they feel normal for the first time in life. We have a lot of people, they're depressed, they take C60, they're no longer depressed while they're on C60. right? And a lot of this is probably, some of this is due to biochemical problems. If your mitochondria are working correctly, they're going to be making the neurotransmitters and the dopamine and other things. That's the other thing, is the dopamine suppression that people have. One of the reasons that, there's things called acute inflammation and then chronic inflammation. Acute inflammation is when, let's say, you sprain your ankle, right? It's damaged, it swells up, right? It's hot, and it's painful, and that's part of the body's process of healing and preventing you from like using it, right? Because it needs to be healed before you can use it again, and that's what pains is there for. And but another thing that happens when people have that inflammation is the dopamine production. Dopamine is the motivation molecule. It's the molecule that gets you up out of bed in the morning, right? Your brain makes the dopamine to get you up. That's what it is. And so when you have chronic inflammation or acute inflammation, your dopamine levels are pushed down. And it's because that's what your body wants you to do. If you've got a broken ankle or sprained ankle, the body doesn't want you to get up and do stuff, right? It wants you to sit there and lie around until you heal, and then you can get up. So it suppresses dopamine, the motivation molecule. And that's fine and good when it's like acute. You've actually got an injury and stuff. That's a really good thing. The problem is people get chronic inflammation. That's gut inflammation or maybe arthritis or other problems that are chronic inflammation. It'll create that whole dopamine suppression. And one of the things that happens when you take C60 is that the inflammation is reduced, lifts the inflammation that the cells are under, and then that causes dopamine production to return. And then people get motivated to go and do the things that they like. And so that is one of the things that C60 is well known for doing.
Man, I definitely thought it was a full body enhancer, and then the more that we uncover the science and the testimonies behind it, yeah, it really is full body enhancer. But you had said something earlier that I really, really wanted to know more about. You said you had a team of psychic viewers and remote viewers. And what are they saying?
Oh, yeah. It's
what are they saying about the world? How about this? What are they saying about the world?
Well, they have the crypto viewing group. Or no, it's called the future forecasting group now. And you can go to YouTube and they have like little videos that you can see about that they release. And you can also like get a subscription, and you can see like what they do every month is they remote view the main news stories for the next month. Like what's the next month's news? And they're highly successful at it. I've been subscribed to them for like years, and it's just amazing. They'll go, what are the big stories next month? And they'll pick them pretty much all of them out. And then so you can, at the beginning of the month, you can like listen to the remote viewing group. You got to do a subscription, and it'll tell you like some of the big stories, what's going to happen that month. And then they'll happen as the month goes along. And sometimes the stories are so big, they're like the next month or the month before after that. But no, the future forecast group is really good. They're not the only remote viewing group, but I think if you really want to, I think looking into remote viewing, and it's a skill that's learned over decades, right? To be a really good one, like a piano player, it takes decades to be a good piano player. I mean, everybody can mac on the piano, but do they make good music? Probably not. So that's why professional remote viewers who've been working on it for decades are probably one. So there's and the future forecast group is the one I like the best, but there's others.
So what is their opinion for what we got going on in 2024 and 2025? What is, last time we spoke was in 2023, and things were kind of ramping up, but now, man, it started off crazy. It started off with my aliens in Miami, and then now we're seeing more places like Lahaina just be mysteriously, torn up, burned up, and
yeah,
what is
Cliff
the forecast
Highs,
in your opinion and in their opinion?
Well, Cliff Highs, yeah, I don't know if you guys heard of Cliff High out there, but he has a site called Half Past Human, but he's also on YouTube, and a lot of the things now you got to go to Rumble or BitChute to get them. Things are censored now, so Rumble, BitChute. But so they and the remote viewing group is seeing some problems come maybe April, May in the financial sector or the economic sector. Might have something to do with like banking. We've been losing. There's a big banking crisis in China, and it's just kind of growing, getting worse and worse. And so it may be spreading. It may spread. There's indications it might spread to other places in the world. And of course, this is an election year. So in election years, the government, the Federal Reserve, and other things try to usually pump the economy, right? They're pumping. We just like yesterday was like a new high in the stock market. That's because they're creating money out of thin air and pumping it into the market, because the market, is the basis of their whole power structure. So they're going to be pumping the market all year, but you have problems like in banking and in and other problems like the war. If they go stupid and get a war with Iran, well, war is, it's good for, to a certain extent, it's good for certain people in the economy, but internationally, it could be a real problem, especially in trade. If the oil doesn't flow from the Middle East, you could have $10 a gallon gas at the gas station, because price of oil is determined by world forces, not because not by local things anymore. So yeah, you could have some real problems, and $10 gas would really jack the economy. So, and everybody's lives, believe me. So I drive a lot. So yeah, so they just see some stuff coming up here toward the May, May, June, something like that. Probably there could be some bumps in the road.
There's been an advent of flying cars over, carrying now flying taxis to be transporting all the people. Here in America, there's flying cars already in production. They're in all countries. Why do you think now? And you gonna get one or what?
No, because what happens if they what happens with the battery has a problem, right? Zonk plunk. That's the end of it. No, I
Those
think
things like
until
that
they
broke.
got that technology down, I'm not going to get myself a flying car. I know people that have them. I mean, we've had, like, out here in Colorado, we had somebody fly over the San de Cristos with them, right? They had their own private, like, one of those quadcopter thingies or octopters. They flew right over the mountains. You're not legally allowed to do that, but they do it anyway. So you'll see them out here. I've seen a couple out here. There's guys flying around in their machine. They're totally illegal, not approved, but you'll see them. Bzzz, there they go. Like late in the evening, bzzz, taking their crazy quadcopter out on a run. So, they're kind of like those outlaw dirt bikers. Drop ride in places they're not supposed to. But oh well, that's already happening. So.
Well, so why do you think now, with all this technology? I mean, they're finally admitting that time travel is real.
Yeah, I don't know about time travel, but
they're
but
finally,
a lot of
I think
things are.
releasing a
I
lot of
mean,
technology.
I think you can time travel with remote viewing. Obviously, that's going on because you can go in the past, you can see the past, you can see the future. The future does have some ability to be changed. If they see something coming up, you can do something to change it, and it doesn't happen. And there's been examples of that uh, with remote viewing. So that does happen. You can change the future with remote viewing, because if you see a problem coming up, you can actually do something to stop it before it becomes a problem. And actually, I think the governments are doing that a lot. The government has large remote viewing projects going on right now. They're all clandestine, but it's happening, and I think governments all around the world are doing that. So it's just, but they're not telling you. I mean, the government is not going to tell you what it's really doing. And it's all classified, and they're never, and 50 years later, they still don't tell you what they did 50 years ago. So what does it matter?
So that's where I was trying to get to. I mean, why do you think now, as far as like, it almost seems like, I mean, just realistically, it almost seems like there's portals opening up, and things are coming through, or veil. The veil's broken, in my opinion. The veil has been broken, and
Yeah.
it almost
Well,
seems like yeah,
I mean, look at AI. Look at AI. I mean,
we're here.
technology is increasing exponentially. AI is increasing. All this stuff, there's that concept they call the singularity, or the blank hits the fan, whatever they call it. And I think we're approaching that thing, because you look at AI, you look at the development of AI, you look at the development of all of this other stuff, and it's getting to the point. I mean, they have machines that or interfaces. They can actually read your mind, literally. They can have you read a set of sentences, right? And the machine will actually look at the way your brain's working and tell you pretty much what you were saying. I mean, it's reached that level. So yeah, I mean, that's just crazy, but they have machines that can read your brain now. and all these other things. And so I just think the level of technology, because it grows exponentially, is now hitting, just and that's what Cliff High talks about, the woo. There's just going to be all of this scientific discovery is just going to become pouring out into the world and making things jump forward. MOXY fusion is part of that, but there's so much more that is that's out there that I know about that just hasn't reached public consciousness. And it's just going to transform the world. I mean, just faster and faster and faster and faster and faster. It's, like trying to drink out of a fire hose.
I'm at the idea that we are the ancestors of the people who are in space right now, and it's
Well, yeah,
just kind of that. I don't know. Maybe they're trying to merge us to them.
yeah, I think there's this things are changing, like they screwed up in the future, and they're trying to change things in the past so it doesn't go the direction that it did. And there's all kinds of things like that, and it's possible those are real. You can't discount all that stuff. I mean, people said this. I mean, there was a time when people said rocks couldn't fall out of the sky.
Interesting. What you had just said is that maybe they messed up in the future. So that's actually a plot of a show that I like to watch. I did actually right around the same time of my awakening. I don't know why it even spoke to me. I don't know why I picked that show, but it was right when I was changing all my ideas, and it just popped up on Netflix. It's called Travelers, and there's this super advanced AI computer in the future, and it's sending back humans and their souls into previous bodies around the same time man merged with technology. So it's putting the smartest consciousness back into the people who can help change reality and help be like the guard to stop like a nuclear bomb or something. They're trying to stop the decimation of the earth. Very interesting.
Yeah.
Very interesting show. You might
So
like
it's an
it.
interesting concept. Yeah, I'm getting close to when I got to get going. I got a few things at the top of the hour.
Oh no, it's fine, man. I just had so just for quick reference, just out of all the testimonials, let's name a few things that's so far speculated to help people with. If people are dealing with arthritis, eye problems, skin problems, what might C60
Two
be
things:
applied to?
gut and brain.
To people who are because
Yeah, that's what the two things are: gut and brain. Like if you got like mental clarity, brain fog, that's really good. Eyesight, which is actually part of the brain. All of those things really work good. Hormone issues, because the endocrine system gets restarted with C60. With the mitochondria make pregnenolone the precursor. Gut issues really good. People take C60. It's usually taken internally, and because you get that increase in stem cells, it allows your gut to like turn over better. And because actually the skin cells in your face are related to the gut cells, because they're the same kind of like tissue type. And so if C60 reduces lines and wrinkles in Japanese women's faces, it also makes your gut stronger and more efficient. So if you got gut issues, mental brain issues, and endocrine issues, those are or like muscle issues, like, the third part of the best is like the heart has the muscle
insomnia.
full of mitochondria. So all of those things, any cell type with a lot of mitochondria, fast cell turnover is like skin is going to be helped with C60.
Would it help with insomnia and health? Yeah, so a lot of people go to sleep. That's my dogs.
Yes, it does help with the insomnia, but you need to take it in the morning. C60, if you take it late at night, it kind of gets you ramped up a little bit. So take your C60 in the morning, and then you'll sleep better at night. So that's just one of those things that you could do. So it does do that, but it won't happen right away. It takes a while for for once the mitochondria get going in your endocrine system. There's a whole cascade of things that have to go on. You get more ATP, you're getting more pregnenolone. It takes a few days for all that stuff to start working and get everything functional. So it's not going to happen overnight, but after a month of using C60, you will definitely see positive changes in a wide variety of areas.
That guys, we're gonna go ahead and enjoy the rest of our weekend, and I hope you guys did too. This has been an hour and a half broadcast, and I hope I brought the coolest 90 minutes to you of your weekend. Well, maybe go spend time with your family and friends and dogs. If my dogs are barking at me, they want to find you real fast. And appreciate you being here, brother.
Okay, great to be on.
God bless. Yeah, I mean, well, so you're on all socials? Is that the thing? Or are you on all
Yeah,
socials?
I think there's some on Facebook. We got a YouTube channel, C60 Purple Power, the old name. Uh, and we're on BitChute. I think I've seen stuff on BitChute and Rumble and all those. You can look for C60 Power, C60 Purple Power on pretty much any platform, and you'll find something there. And we have like hundreds of little videos, usually about one health subject or another. So if you look around, you'll probably find what you're looking for and can learn about C60 and that. We also work with a lot of doctors who use C60 in their practice and have specialties that help. I mean, C60 is like a base. It lifts the oxidative burden the cells are under so everything in your body can work better. And so if they find that C60 as a base to help, improve metabolism, cellular metabolism, just makes any other treatment they give much, much better. And so there's a whole bunch of subjects on that too.
Man, oh man, I busted my MCL like August 1st, and you guys just sent me a box of gummies, and that thing helped out so much. And now that I'm off of it, I literally feel the lag again, but I know for a fact that your T60 gummies, dude, like changed the way I was walking.
Yeah, send us another email.
It was swollen beyond belief. I would have
Yeah.
not been working. I was still working. I was still able to work.
Yeah, send us an email. We'll send you some more gummies and stuff.
Dude, yeah, I was still able to work, guys. This is it. Dude, I appreciate you. Honestly, I'm like this testimony for everybody out there. It made me walk on a dead leg. That's how good I felt. I mean, my body was energized, dude. Like, no doubt. We gotta get out of this. This is too great, man. I love this. Hey, you have a great day, brother, and I will see you next time.
Great.
And hey, have a blessed weekend, brother. Peace.
Okay, you and everybody out there. Thanks.
All right, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed that broadcast. And yeah, I hope that you guys enjoyed that broadcast. The connections, it just seemed off maybe by 1 second or 2 seconds. And literally, it's just, sometimes that's just the way it is. And, that's why I need a studio. I need you guys to go ahead and drop some more support, donations down there. I got my PayPal, I got my Cash App, whatever you guys want to do. If you guys would like to go ahead and help me get eye surgery, I'm trying to get eye surgery. So if you guys would like to go fund me, please, anything. I'm giving you guys the most that I can, which is wisdom and love and the best of me. So don't destroy the rest of me, please. Bless me, please. Hope you guys are enjoying yourselves with some drink and everything. But let me finish this off appropriately. I'm gonna read a Bible verse for all of you. So today's verse of the day. Um, well, Micah 7, verse 18. Who is God like you? Sins and forgives the transgression of the remnant of his inheritance. You do not stay angry forever, but delight to show mercy. So once again, like you, who pardons sins and forgives the transgressions of the remnant of his inheritance. You do not stay angry forever, but delight to show mercy. And that is a powerful thing. We should not stay angry forever. I know in my own life there were times where I seemed very mad, and I seemed to have this desire to burn things up, to just destroy the name of whatever I felt mad about. But the more that I'm coming to Christ and the more that I'm coming to my own life, the less hate that I'm holding, the less anger that I can find myself in, the less fury that I want to be in. It quickly fades away. Um, it's not a good emotion to stay in. We should be merciful to the people who do not know better. They do not know uh, what they are under, the spell that they are under, the darkness that they are under. Uh, um, they do not know their actions and the repercussions. Um, and I understand that there are things that may seem unforgivable, but uh, it's not up to us to hold them accountable. It is up to God, and we should not be in the way. We should not let that focus and that energy hold on, like a cement bag on our back. Don't let that be dead weight. Don't let these ideas and these illicit, hateful patterns alter your life and your pattern. People go about doing stupid things because they hate this person, and they didn't even have to go and do that. They just they're like, well, I seen him at the store, so or I seen him at the store. Like they do. People do weird things, right? Like for hate and for justice, for revenge, or what? I mean, it's not justice. Whatever. You get what I mean? Let God justify it, and figure let be the one. Um, because for the most part, we were all sinners. There are things that we didn't know at the time, but God and Jesus, you know, blessed us with this spiritual protection that you will not find anywhere else until you, come to this state of love. If you're always forever held in anger, you're gonna never be appreciated the way that you fully should, and neither are the people around you. If you can't just at least be like, well, maybe they're just, lost in ways. And then God will show them grace and mercy. Maybe then after you drop that hate, maybe then love can form because things can't come in until that a void can't be filled unless the prior was taken out. So if there's hate there, love will never be there. But if you take the hate out, love can, grow like a seed that is sown and the water that is flowing out my mouth right now. Hope you guys are enjoying this water water talk. I'm growing you guys. I'm here to water you guys like seeds. Because they tried to bury us, but they didn't know we were seeds. God is our light, and a tree they will see. Be fruitful with your tree. God bless you guys. Hope you guys are enjoying your life the way I am. Peace. Be blessed.